5G for us is a connectivity fabric which is right now in the standardization phase. What we envisage is this will provide a base layer to all the services industries to connect, and the way we look at 5G, it addresses multiple use cases, multiple applications, and will enable a lot of other industries or verticals to leverage technology. In terms of the use cases, there are three broad categories. So you have enhanced mobile broadband, essentially providing much better throughput to the end user in the 10 times what you have currently. Similarly, in the IoT space, you have 10 times more connected IoT devices in the same geography or much higher density essentially of IoT. And then lastly, provide ultra reliable communication with low latency, essentially a quick turnaround time with very high reliability for applications like autonomous cars and robotics as well. I think it's all of what you said and more. So the way this technology is designed is, it is designed to leverage multiple spectrum bands. So essentially you will have much wider bandwidths, much wider, which will enable us to deliver much higher peak data rates as well as much better average throughputs to the end user. And then that enables one to provide immersive user experience with augmented reality, virtual reality, much higher video quality through Ultra HD. So you could essentially have a lot of possible use cases just with the enhanced mobile broadband. And then when you have spectrum which is going from all the way to sub-gigahertz, all the way up to 60 gigahertz, 90 gigahertz, then you can have a lot of other applications ranging from IoT to low latency applications to very wide data channels as well. And what that enables is to provide low cost per bit to enable much cheaper, I would say, or provide much higher data rate at a relatively more affordable cost. Sure, there are multiple verticals. I think the examples you gave are just few of those. The way technology is envisaged is it will touch a lot more industries. So we can take an example of healthcare, for example. It'll allow one to do telehealth or remote patient monitoring, for example. Also allow remote surgeries as we do ultra low latency and reliable communications as well. Going to education, for example, immersive experience would enable both at the school and college level as well as in the enterprise trainings, which will have much more significant impact and much more greater availability across the board as well. Qualcomm led the 3G and 4G mobile generations, and with 5G we started well before the standardization started, and our approach is typically end-to-end systems designs approach. So what that would mean is that we start with the algorithms and system design with our R&D, and we have a very large number of resources dedicated to that, and then it goes through the standardization process. We have very strong engineering presence in the 3GPP standardization body, and followed that with simulators and prototyping, which goes as an input to standards and also to commercialization as well. So advanced prototyping helps us get to the field, look at all the field issues before the technology is completely standardized, and provide that feedback as well. And then we have partnerships with operators, infra vendors, device manufacturers, and we are able to bring all that together to deliver early, I would say, working samples or prototypes much ahead of everybody else, and that also gives us confidence that during the commercialization phase, all those issues which are seen typically in the field would be resolved earlier than anticipated as well. So it'll involve the infrastructure vendors, it will involve operators who will deploy the technology, it will involve the device OEMs, it will involve apps developers, it will also involve regulators, for example, and countries as such, because this is becoming so critical to multiple industries that now there is countries taking interest in how can one expedite 5G. And we consider 5G. 5G is considered as a transformational technology in some sense. So what that would mean is that you are continually evolving the technology, and it is able to serve multiple use cases. Some of them are available today and have been envisaged today. The others we don't even know of today. And if you look at the technology design, we have left, for example, blank frames and some frequencies left out as well, just to accommodate those future potential use cases which are not available today. So it's been designed to address a lot of these areas which are not addressed by today's technologies. I should also add that LTE will continue to evolve, and you have LTE Advanced Pro where we have gigabit LTE. So that's again an area which will continue to evolve. IoT through NB-IoT and eMTC will also evolve as well. So that evolution path also is pretty strong, and Qualcomm is leading that as well. So in terms of use cases, there are a lot of applications, and as we get into each of those use cases, what it will help is to improve the economic output in some of those verticals where technology will become relevant, where it was not there in the past. And that should improve productivity, improve application, improve utilization of resources. And overall, because we consider this as more transformational, it will continue to improve and evolve. So what that would mean is as new areas emerge, there will be, of course, we have a very vibrant ecosystem in general. So there will be potential opportunities to even address areas which are not conceived today as well. In the driverless ecosystem, you have two phases. The first phase will be assisted driving. Essentially, 5G will provide base connectivity to the driver and help navigate better. And over a period of time, we have ultra low latency defined in or coming up in the spec, which will help in autonomous driving. And once you go autonomous, then the enhanced mobile broadband could come in and provide immersive experience. So all the elements of technology are almost interconnected, and you could have diagnostics, you could have some of those working through IoT applications. So essentially, technology can address various facets of the car through one of those three vectors: mobile broadband, enhanced mobile broadband, IoT, or ultra low latency. So IoT is well underway. If you look at LTE, there are already existing standards which do Cat-M1, for example, and NB-IoT. So those are available today, and we have chipsets supporting that. What 5G does is it brings high density of or higher number of devices and builds on what is available in LTE today. So which will mean that the battery life will be longer, the connection density would be 10 times what we can support today with LTE systems as well. So, and then of course all the use cases related to smart farming, smart home, smart cities, some of the projects which government is right now planning or currently running, those could be done much better with 5G in place. India, I think we need to define a regulatory framework. I think we are in the process. TRAI has recently released a consultation paper on 5G or on spectrum, and one of the bands in that is 3.3 to 3.6 gigahertz, which is essentially also 5G in a lot of other geographies as well. So depending on the traction, we could see deployments in 5G, and one of the things is that that band also comes very close to the regular macro cellular coverage which today's underlying networks or 4G networks provide as well. So that could be one, and the other element is I think India has a very vibrant ecosystem, app developer ecosystem, and we have some software and hardware development going on. So we can just not limit ourselves to India, but also serve this ecosystem which is developing at a much broader scale internationally, and leverage our skill sets to push the technology forward as well as create value for the country as well. We believe that 5G will act as an enabler. So from that, all the industries where we are not present today, or we are not, we will create value going forward. So it's more about adding value and providing economic benefit to some of those vertical segments which are not leveraging technology today. So there will be multiple use cases, I think, where you could define and also derive value. So I think that's the key focus for us.